Hello, everyone. My name is John Ferretti, and this is my wife, Adena Ferretti. We're both residents here at Rochdale Village, a Mitchell Llama cooperative in Jamaica, Queens, in New York City. And this is the second episode of the Keep Rochdale Affordable podcast. And learning somewhat from our last time, I'm not going to talk quite as much this time. And Adina is going to get a chance to talk first, so that we can represent equality here. And she just wants to give her impressions of what happened at the special board meeting on Monday at the Rochdale Village Grand Ballroom, which was in response to the proposed increases in our carrying charges. So, Adina, the floor is yours. While Adina's speaking, I'm going to be sharing out the live stream in various Facebook groups so that we try to build as wide an audience as possible. One other thing before I hand the mic to Adina, if you want to call in and you want to be part of this discussion, you can text me at 917-678-0557. If you text us with your name and your building number, we'd be glad to have you on live to speak with us. So we look forward to doing that as well. Adina, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good evening to all Rochdale Village. Thank you for joining us in our second podcast, Keeping Rochdale Affordable. So I was able to attend the special board meeting in person on Monday due to the increased carrying charges. And the meeting went as expected. The meeting went as I expected. Um, what I expected was that there would have been no accountability. No one was going to say, yes, it was my fault why this large increase is happening. So, yes, that's exactly what happened. No one took accountability. They blame it on inflation, they blame it on all kind of things, except I think what should have been blamed on, which was um, basically the money that should have gone someplace didn't go. Um, Also, um, what I also wanted to talk about is, we had raised the questions as what could we have done better with the carrying charges? Like, what could we have done better with, easing the burden on the carrying charges for the residents? Were there programs that we could have allocated to get, like the $80 million? Did we get that? Was there rent relief that we could have got that would not have get us into this position? Um, the management company spoke about that, but I, I I don't know why they didn't do that before. They were speaking about, okay, selling off the energy at the plant over there. So I'm saying that's not even a good idea. But why wasn't that proposed even before now? Also, there was something else that I wanted to talk about is that I have a coworker that lives in Starrett City, and I called him up and I'm like, what's going on over there? Is everything okay? Are they raising your rent carrying charges? What's going on? And he said, no, Adina, they're not doing not such thing. What happened was they even have a program for us where if you had not paid your carrying charges, then they would have wiped it clean. Like, so I don't remember. He said he don't know what date that would have been. So I think it's maybe
It was in
probably was
2021.
January or February.
Adina, it was 2021 when this happened. That's what the
2021.
link I sent you shows.
Yeah, but he was saying that he had gotten the email, but he wasn't sure. But regardless, 2021, everyone's rent was wiped clean. So they got an email. So if you had owed $10,000 for rent, that was erased, and you're up to saying that now you owe zero. So why wasn't that? Why couldn't Rochdale have gotten that information? Now, if you wanted to know about this, and HCR was involved in this because this is coming from the HCR .newyork.gov website, and basically it was saying that they were going to, I think, John refinance. They was going to
Yeah, they were
refinance their loan, and they
refinancing.
was going to get a new loan. And with this loan, they were gonna have new kitchen appliance for every residence. Don't Rochdale need that? What about our bathtubs that need reglazing, and that's not done? That could have been a part of Rochdale $195 million. Also, renovating all the lobbies and corridors, replacing the building, and upgrading landscaping, upgrading playgrounds and outdoor sports area. Okay. Let's see what they got on here. Also, Rochdale would need some of that. And there was a message from the governor, and she said, "I applaud Starrett City residents on a refinancing plan, and it will give them a peace of mind and a safe, affordable place to live now and into the future. We must all do what we can to protect tenants and preserve Mitchell housing so that low and middle income families can thrive in our great city." I think Rochdale needs to hear that. Also, the next thing I wanted to talk about before we get into this is that the rent is going up, and it's not if the rent is going up, it's when the rent is going up. Some seniors may be able to get financial help. Um, some low income families, whatever they call low income families, will be able to be getting help also. Some people will be doing two and three jobs. They can find jobs that they could do so that they could be making extra money. Maybe me, John and I too will be able to pay the $200 or the $300 extra. But that's not the problem. The problem is that when when will it happen that we're gonna come to that stage where we can't pay it because they're gonna raise it up some more next year and we can't pay it. So what I'm saying is everyone have to jump into this fight. It's not even a fight, it's a war. You know what I'm saying? It's war. So we gotta start fighting now because it's gonna come a time when whatever we're doing to pay this increase and to live here is gonna come a time when we are not gonna be able to do it anymore. We're not gonna be able to find an extra job. We are not gonna be able to work overtime to pay that extra money. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is, let's start fighting now. Okay, John.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think that people need to understand that when they come for one of us, they come for all of us. That an injury to one is an injury to all, and that um, that fundamentally, if we don't speak up when they attack us, they're going to keep attacking us, and that we are. I know Frederick Douglass had many quotes about you condition the level of disrespect you will accept from your oppressors by your willingness to accept their disrespect, and the degree to which you accept their disrespect, the more disrespect will be dished out to you, because they are learning how much we're willing to take, how much we're willing to be bullied, how much we're willing to be gaslit and lied to and told half truths and talked down to like we're stupid. And so if people wonder why I was angry at the meeting with Jay Williams, one of the reasons why is that I grew up fighting bullies my whole life, and it really makes me angry when people assume that because you come from a certain class background or a certain race or a certain gender, that you can't understand these things and that they can just dazzle you with bullshit and throw dust up in the air and quote this number and that number and lecture you. Jay Williams of the management company, Summit Management Company, he came out here telling us, you have to understand there's just some bills you have to pay. There are must pay bills. Like we all don't know about must pay bills. We all don't know that we got to pay our car note. We all don't know that we got to pay for our children's education. We have to pay for our families. There's 1,001 things. There's 1,001 flaming balls of fire that we have to juggle as working class people to keep ourselves afloat in this economy. And he's going to come and lecture us to say, oh, well, these bills just have to be paid. And the other part of that is you suckers just have to pay it. And there's nothing we can do. And I don't believe that. And I don't believe that because I can read, as do many Rochdale residents, and we know exactly how we got into this mess. And we know we had nothing to do with it. And we know this management company had a whole lot to do with it. And so that's why, you know, um, there is frustration. And that's why in that room on Monday night, there was a crackling of people's frustrations and their anger, and they're not feeling heard. And the way the meeting was run was completely undemocratic. They continued to read out our questions back to us and then basically filibuster with their answers. That's not democracy. That's not actually taking people's questions seriously. It's just killing time and not allowing people to speak live. There were people there who wanted to speak live who they kept from speaking. There were people on that Zoom who they kept from speaking. That's what a real democratic meeting would look like. So then the response when you do criticize them and you do try to hold them accountable and demand that they be accountable from Lisa Stark is her name, was that she don't have the effing money, and she curses at cooperators, and she says that we should go down to our offices and make an appointment to see their books. They're completely transparent. That's not transparency. If we are shareholders in this corporation and we are all paying to keep this organization afloat, then we have a right to see these records. Everyone has a right to see these records. Not me, John Ferretti, not Adena Ferretti, all of us. It needs to be published on the website of Rochdale Village. It needs to be transparent so that everybody can look at this information. And not only do we need to look at it, the government representatives that are responsible for oversight, they need to look at it. And there shouldn't be any question that when we ask to see where every dime is going, that we have an absolute right to do so. So that's where a lot of the people may have seen as personal um, beef comes from. People get upset when you lie to them, when you piss on them and tell them it's raining, when you tell outright lies again and again and again, or half truths to make it seem like you understand where the crisis is coming from. One more last thing I'm going to get to, and then I'm going to turn it over to Adina. They went there and they cherry picked 6 Mitchell-Lamo apartments that had large increases that were, anywhere from the low teens to 30 or 40%. They picked 6. Do you know how many Mitchell-Lamas there are in New York State? There's 212. Out of those 212, 166 Mitchell-Lamas in the last year that HCR provided numbers for, which was in 2023, which covered the year of 2022. Out of 166 of those 212 Mitchell-Lamas had a 0 to 3% increase. The overwhelming majority of those had a 0% increase. So when you cherry pick numbers and say, oh, see, other Mitchell-Lamas are struggling, it makes it seem like everybody's going through the same crisis. And as Adina just pointed out, they don't have a crisis at Starrett City. I wonder why that is. It's the same governor, it's the same regulatory body, HCR, but yet they get aid and we don't. Why is that? What are we, the special unicorns? What are we, somebody who's got a kick me sign on our back? We just get to get our rate, our increases be 30, 40% at a time? No, that can't happen. Adina, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I also wanted to say about Lisa Starks was what happened is that I think John was talking to the management company,
Yes.
Jay Williams, and she did not even allow him to answer. She just swung in from the rope, the top rope, to defend him,
Yeah.
and just made an ass of herself, I think. And I want her to point out that when Jean Hall dragged her and says, "I don't know you," I
She
don't
said
know
she
you.
don't represent us.
This she didn't recognize her. She didn't recognize Lisa at all. The president of the
Board
board
of
said,
Directors.
"Look, I don't know her. I don't know where she's coming from." I noticed that Jay William didn't swing in and says, "Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's my people." So here she is making a fool of herself, and the person that she's making a fool of herself for did not back her up. And that was embarrassing. That's what I wanted to say. That was just really, really and truly embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
why
I mean,
would you do that to yourself?
yeah,
Yeah, like
Jay Williams also embarrassed himself. The management company, the head of the management company, whose response to us, to my questions, specifically about where the $195 million loan from Wells Fargo went to, that was taken in 2019, that I wanted to know exactly why we needed that loan, where the money went, and where that money was allocated. And his response was to rattle off 10 or 12 projects that add up maybe total to 10 or $12 million. So again, they think you're stupid. Again, they are deliberately throwing dust in the air and trying to make it seem like they can account for the money when they haven't accounted for the money.
okay.
And before that, his response was to race bait me and say that I didn't respect him as a black man, and that's why I was questioning him. And he got booed, and Lisa Stark got booed. Good, Dina. I know you wanted to get to some question. Good.
No, what I was saying that also that about that also that while John was talking, people on the board were sending things on Facebook, stating that wolf in sheep clothing and agents and all these things, and trying to get like maybe John is trying to get money out of this. I want to say that John is not on the board. Nothing that we do, we're asking for any money. So all those two people that were on the board, while the board meeting was going on, and you were busy throwing comments on Facebook, I want you to tell me, like, how are we getting money from this? You just throwing shades for no reason. You should have been able to talk. You should have been able to take accountability. But instead, you're sitting there. You couldn't even read one of the questions. You could not even read one of the questions. But at the same time, you're there throwing two-word shades. That wasn't your job. Okay? Your job was to find out where all this money went. Your job was to stop this increase. You had a lot of job. But this job that you was doing while the board meeting was going on was not your job. And you should stop it and you should do better. Don't do that.
I mean, look, it's not about me being. I'm not going to cry myself to sleep over being called a predator or an agent or a wolf in sheep's clothing. But my real question is, why are you mad? Why are you people so mad and salty? Why? Why are
Yeah.
these particular individuals so upset about this when you should be upset about us being attacked by a management company that's been running this cooperative into the ground for the last number of decades? On first they were MSI, now they're Summit Management Company, yet some of the same people keep circling into the highest positions like Friedlander and Jay Williams. So it's like they're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, but you're not upset about that. And
Yeah.
and in fact, sorry, I'm going to get to you in a second. In fact, the very same people that got all of this smoke and all of this shade and all of this hate for a person they don't even know, who lives here, who's not living rent free in an apartment like some people we know, who's not having cozy relationships with the management company, they voted already. They voted on January 27th of this year to push through 22.3% increase in the first year and 4.5% increase in the second year. And not one of them voted against it. So why are you mad? Why are you defensive? Why don't you explain what you did and why it's a good strategy? Go ahead, Adina. Sorry.
But I also wanted to tell you that some of the information that we found out was through Jean Hall. She was the one that put it on her podcast. So not her podcast, her thing that she has on Facebook. So I just wanted to say sometimes I feel that she's transparent and then sometimes I don't know what to think of her. So she'll just throw things out there. I don't know how to my personal thing, I don't know how to take her. She will just throw things out there. She's the one that talked about the water bill. She's the one that was saying a lot of things and like open up our eyes to what was happening on the board. And I think if she hadn't have done certain things or say certain things on her Facebook, that we wouldn't have known. So a part of me is saying, go Jean, go. And then another part is like, what? So I personally don't know how to take her with it. And also, as John was talking about, at the meeting, they kept on asking the same questions, and I'm like, why are you reading the same questions? And they were pre-picked, and they answered them pre-recorded. I think that they probably should have came there, and the board member should have spoke, and then they should have answered the questions right on the back, but they didn't do that.
Yeah. I wanna put up some of these comments here. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
Um, there was some. Oh, okay. Um, Robin Wright said that Lisa Stark is rat nasty and rude. He was also saying that um, how can we get a warrant for the financial records? We're actually reaching out to a community advocate to try to find out how best to do that. But I think the best way would probably be through the state controller or the city controller doing an audit, because they have people who are specially trained in accounting and in financial records and in the legality of all of this stuff. So that's part of it. Um, then I am Mary Seed on Facebook was saying we need Letitia James. That's the Attorney General. Um, she says that she's calling Suffolk County office trying to get her direct number. And so so in any case, I am Mary Seed also said that HCR raised 25% for Electchester. Yes, that was one of the ones that they highlighted, and I don't know what's going on in Electchester, to be honest with you. But if the management company or the people who support the management company on the board want to make the case that Electchester is similar to what's going on here, then make that case. Let's see why they needed an increase there, what the nature of their financial situation was. But what I want to share with you for a minute is from HCR the listing of the various Michelamas and what each Michelama increase would look like. I want you to show you this to show you where you can get it. So I'm going to add it to the screen and just try to cancel. Let me just try to share my screen. Alright, okay, Adina, can you see it?
No.
All right, I'm gonna go back to here. It is. Okay, yeah, I can see it now. All right, so
Yeah, I can
um,
see it now, but it's very
it's
small.
very small. I'm trying to make it bigger. Hold on. All right, you
Can
know
you take
what?
the whole screen?
I'm gonna try to, but if I do that, I won't be able to count. Yeah. All right. Let's just skip it. Forget it. Um, I'll put
But
the
where can they find it?
I'll put the link
Okay.
in the chat in the comments. But basically, you can scroll through there and you'll see Rochdale had a 4% increase in 2022, and then we had a 3.7%. Um, let me
Well,
just.
John,
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
John,
Yeah.
Jean Hall was saying that I remember in one of her broadcasts that she had on Facebook, and she was saying that she was screaming to when they had the meeting, she was screaming and saying they should be transparent with the residents and tell them exactly what's going on, way before this, and that what they should have done, this is what she was saying, that they probably should have raised the carrying charges more
A little bit
over
each
the
month.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They should have raised it more over the years so that we would not have gotten this hard hit. But then again, if you didn't mismanage the money, this wouldn't have happened. It just brings it right back there. But
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
mean,
saying Jim Paul mismanaged the money. I'm just saying the money was just
no, no, no.
mismanaged. I'm not claiming her, but
We want to put the mismanagement squarely at the feet of the management company because they were the ones making the decisions. What we depend on our board members to do is to hold them accountable and to stop them from doing things that are actively harming Rochdale. There's a huge difference between those two things. I'm sorry,
yeah.
God.
No, no, you was telling me that they locked them out of Co-op City.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this same Marion Scott Incorporated, which is the predecessor um, to Summit Magic Management Company, which I said before has some of the same representatives who bought Marion Scott. They were thrown out entirely from Co-op City, Mitchellama. They locked their doors and kicked them out, and they accused them of all sorts of misdeeds, um, specifically with their management of the cooperative in terms of who they were hiring, refusing to pay overtime to employees, discrimination. There was a whole bunch of things going on. I'll also post those details. There was a long process for Co-op City to get them out. And at Co-op City, they were also on a month-to-month contract, which they are here. Like this management company is on a month-to-month contract. So they don't have any length of time where the contracts last for 2 or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or whatever. And it's very in my experience, it's very unusual for a management company not to have a year, at least a couple of years on their contract. And it generally indicates that there's something going on with that management company if they're month to month. Jay Williams and any of the representatives from the management company, they didn't want to touch that question with a 10-foot pole, and they didn't say anything about it. But if our residents should look into Co-op City and what happened there, because there was a long legal fight over that I believe lasted until 2022 or 2023. But the end result was they got thrown out on their ass, and they are no longer the management company there. And when they talk about, oh, Rochdale Village has a bad reputation, yeah, I wonder why. It We are represented by our management company. That's who negotiates all the contracts. That's who they see. And so long as they see this kind of non-responsive, unaccountable management company that gets taken to the cleaner by vendors like Chase on sweetheart rent deals, you know, so long as they see suckers across the bargaining table from them and people that are more than willing to move in a way that benefits the vendors but doesn't benefit the residents here, we're going to continue to be taken advantage of. And speaking of being taken advantage of, I don't know if people caught any of um, Jay Williams' sleight of hand during his discussion about what the potential next steps could be to prevent the crisis in the future. One of the things he proposed was selling the electricity that we produce, the power that we produce at our power plant, selling it to the city or to other people who want to buy the power that we produce. And as you can imagine, one of the benefits of being in Rochdale is that even if there's a blackout in New York City, we will still have power because we have our own grid, we have our own power plant, we produce our own power, and selling off that power to outside people would mean being connected. Could mean being connected to the grid. It could mean also coming up short on the amount of energy that we need to continue to keep Rochdale Village powered. Then he was talking about carbon capture, and all of these things were presented while he was talking with somebody he met upstate at a meeting. That is not how we should be making decisions about the future of Rochdale. Shouldn't the residents be consulted about what the best way forward is, about why you're making the decisions you're making? You're out there consulting outside people to come up with crackpot schemes to solve a crisis that you created, but you have no accountability for the crisis you created. That doesn't work. And you wonder why people are bullying you. You wonder why people don't want to hear your excuses. This is why, because you're not transparent and not accountable. And a lot of the board members that were there, whether they were pro management company or not, were just far too silent. And they've been far too silent. There's a handful of people I can point to who are posting things on Facebook, reaching out, hosting Zoom meetings, those kind of things. And those people deserve credit for being transparent to that extent and accountable to that extent. But where are the other 15 board members? Where are they? What do you think about this? Why does it take till 3 hours into the meeting for you to express your solidarity with the struggles that people are feeling here? That's just not good enough. Not everybody can stay 3.5 hours, 4 hours at a meeting that drags on and on and on because it's filibustered by people on that dais. whether the management company or the representatives of the board. We have to do better. This is not good enough. And it's also turning our back on what this Mitchell was supposed to be in the first place. One of the things I said to Jay Williams is that how dare you turn your back on affordability? How dare you try to roll back and take away things that were fought by the civil rights movement? I don't know how many people know, but Rochdale Village was one of the centers of the New York City civil rights movement. There were sit-ins down here. People blocked traffic, demanding integration of this community, demanding that it not be gentrified, demanding that it remain affordable, demanding programs and services to actually support this community. And you want to talk about you represent the black community, but you want to turn your back on those gains? You want to give them away? You want to turn your back on the promises that were made to this community? Is that representing the black community? Because I don't think it's representing them very well. And ask the people who were there on Monday night. Don't take my word for it. Do they think you're representing them well? Good, Lena.
Okay.
Sorry to put you on the
I
spot.
don't think so. Not from the booze and the like sit down. No, don't do that because at the end of the day, you saying that you're a black guy, white guy, whatever, it's not gonna help someone when they need to pay their carrying charges. That's increased. Whatever he was saying was not going to help any one of us. So we don't even want to hear that. We just all we want to know is how this carrying charge business is going to happen because either people are going to leave or either people are going to pay. Problem is, it seems that they already made that decision that they're going to pay. The issue is like how much is going to be,
Yeah.
and also like when will it stop? If you allow it to happen now, like when will it stop? Because they're going to come again with some
Right.
more increase. No, go ahead.
Uh, Adina, I just wanted to answer a question that was put on YouTube. Can you state what the proposed increases are for people watching that don't know? Yeah, thank you for that question. The proposed carrying charge increases that were voted for unanimously at the January 27th Board of Directors meetings was for a 22.3% increase in this year, 2024, and then an additional 4.5% increase in 2025. That was option one of three options that the board had the management company had come up with, and that were published in the Rochdale Village Bulletin, the newspaper here. And they chose the option one, which was the least increase overall. However, they made that decision in January, and then have been having meeting after meeting where members who are residents of the cooperative are demanding transparency, and they're telling people they can't afford to pay these increases. And then in the intervening time, which we found out at the special board meeting on Monday night, they've already gone to HCR, and HCR had demanded more, anywhere from over 30% in the first year and over 40% over 2 years. So they went to HCR. HCR demanded more, and then the management company conceded even more, even higher increases than the ones the board had approved in January. So they had like split the difference between 22.3 and the 30 plus they were demanding. I believe the figure, and I'm only doing this from memory because your website, Rochdale Village's website, has not published the video of the meeting. So I can't go back and check what the numbers that Jay Williams put on the screen were, but I know it was more than 30% in the first year, and it was over 40% overall. So what's happening here is that instead of fighting for their community, they're actually conceding to the higher demands of HCR, which means that they're not effectively advocating for the community they supposedly represent. And it means that it puts us in an even more tenuous position where we could get even worse than what was already approved at the
But
January.
John,
Good.
But John, how are they going to advocate when they need that help? Because they put the Rochdale, the villagers, into that problem, so they need
Right.
to pay the bill. So of course, why would they advocate for anything else less than that? Because you already back, the water bill is high,
Yeah.
the interest on the mortgage is come due, and that has to be paid.
Yeah.
So I mean, they can't go to anybody else. They can't go to the businesses because they're gonna get kicked out. They can't go nowhere but to the corporate people. They can't go nowhere to the residents. That's the only where they can go to get an easy answer.
Yeah.
So
We
there
are.
is nothing else around town that they can go to. All doors are shut, and you would need a fire truck to kick those doors open to find out how can you get money to help what you have done. So the only, I guess, the weak people, which is the residents, which they think these are the only people that they can force into this and
Yeah. I
have
know
the
why
the
they're.
rent increase to have that done. They can't. No one else is gonna open that door. If you imagine something that all the doors are locked except for the residents, because they can bully them and force them into making that high rent. But what happened when the residents don't pay? Like what happened then? If
Yeah.
you know.
Well, we asked them that question that night. What happens when senior citizens and other people who are on fixed incomes can't afford to live here anymore? When they stop paying the carrying charge, what's going to happen? You're going to be in a worse financial position. But I just want to respond. I am Mary Seed posted on Facebook that it was 34%. She has a better memory than me. I knew it was more than 30, but I wasn't able to memorize that. So it was 34% in the first year is what they're proposing. So I just want to get to where they're scamming us, right? I mean, Adina's right that they're not looking in any other direction for any other solution to this problem because, to be quite honest with you, that Rochdale Village cooperative residents are their blood donor of choice. They just want to feed off of us and they want to attack us, and we are their lender of last resort, and that just can't happen anymore. I said that to Jay Williams that we can't be afford we cannot not afford. We have other bills to pay. We have a high cost of living in this city and in this state. We can't afford you to throw a wrecking ball through our finances because of your mismanagement. We can't bail you out. However, what they don't want to say is that the very representatives who they had there, from State Senator Sanders' office, come there and do a dance and try to baffle us with their plans
Oh,
and how they're going to
about
fund
the $80 million.
yeah, about the $80 million that they were proposing be spent to aid Mitchell Lamas all throughout the state. They're telling us they got to pass another bill. Why would they have to pass another bill? I'm not an idiot. I know how to read. I went to the state assembly speaker's website, called Hasty, and they're bragging about how they passed a bill in 2024 on April 19th and 20th to pass $80 million of funding directly for Mitchell Lamas. And then they went out and promised Co-op City $51 million. They make all these promises and they never deliver the money. So what I got to say to State Senator Sanders' office is, why would you come here and tell us you have to pass another bill when you know damn well it was already passed and that the funding was already approved by the state assembly, the state senate, and the governor? So why are we playing games here? They know that money's available. Why won't they use it to rescue residents from an unaffordable carrying charge increase? That's only going to blow up in your faces. When you force people to pay these outrageous amounts, what do you think is going to happen? The same thing that's been happening since 2021 when people fell behind on their carrying charges. And that's going to create an even worse crisis. And what are they going to do then? They're going to raise the carrying charges more and force more people out. And they're going to gentrify this place. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to gentrify this place and kick out the traditional residents. So I also have someone here. Someone commented about the water bill. We also got to talk about that. Please state what the water bill is, and the interest is on Rochdale Village. Jay Williams is trying to get himself out of hot water off the backs of the Rochdale Village cooperators. Yeah, we have to talk about that. There was actually a meeting of the concerned cooperators that I wasn't aware of. Apparently, they put up flyers in the building, and I didn't see it. But
I didn't see any
had this,
flyers.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of hit or miss to me. If you really want the majority of Rochdale residents who work and who may have things going on the weekend to plan to be present, you put it on in the Facebook groups. You put it on social media. You go
Or
door
their
to door
or their portal,
or their
or put it on
website.
the RV portal.
Yeah, or email us. You all have all our email addresses, or put out flyers door to door. You can do that if it's really important, and they didn't do that. But so, in any case, there was a meeting today. And from what I understand, Jay Williams finally admitted that he hasn't paid the water bill in 22 months. He hasn't paid the water bill in 22 months, so that goes back to what, January of 2023? So when they were coming to us with the previous increases, they knew that they weren't going to pay the water bill and they knew they were going to have to get that money back at some point. But they waited and they waited and they waited. And then they came and told us it was 13 months. And now it's 22 months. So it's just like the same lies about, oh, we got 500 cooperators behind on their arrears. Again, they think we're stupid. They think that nobody here can go in and search the New York State Court's website and find out there are only 88 cases of Rochdale Village pursuing arrears on carrying charges. So why
Yeah,
tell
John,
the
this is
lies?
their numbers. Their numbers are always off. I'm gonna tell you a little story about how their numbers are so off. So you know, in the pamphlet they give all these numbers. We have the numbers of how many people are in court. We have the numbers of the water bill. Let me tell you about my puppy. Let me tell you what happened. So they said that violations are like $300, right? Not true. Because I got a $450 violation for my puppy. Okay, so not even the puppy bill you can get right on this in this newspaper. You can't even get the dog's number right. But I mean you're gonna get millions of dollars right. I'm entrusting you with millions of dollars and you can't even get the puppy bill right.
Yeah.
That's what I
Uh, I,
wanted to say. I'm like, this doesn't make no sense.
I think you should show the puppy, by the way. See there?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
this is the
This
puppy.
is, this is Joey. This is the offender right there. Um, by the way,
Exhibit one.
exhibit one. Yeah. By the
Oh
way,
no, victim one.
victim one. By the way, we now have a tag for him, but it took months and months to get it, and we had the security officer come up to the door and make noise so that he could provoke the dog to bark. Meanwhile, in New York City, the um, the violation for a dog barking is that a dog cannot bark more than 10 minutes anytime up until 10 p.m. at night, and after 10 p.m. at night, it's 5 minutes. He was not even barking for a minute, and he gave a violation. So the Office of Security and the management company have conspired to give out a whole bunch of violations that are not justified and that
And those are
violate people's
backdoor rent
rights.
increase also when they give
Yeah,
violations.
exactly.
Wrong violations, backdoor rent increase. So what do they do
Exactly.
with all that money? Because a lot of people got violations for no reasons.
Yeah, they have a lot of time to collect backdoor rent and have Key Food, who gouged us during the pandemic and raised the prices astronomically because they could, because they're parasites and opportunists. They had them chasing people out of Key Food and racially targeting them and trying to make complaints like they're stealing. And a lot of times it's not even anywhere justified. And nobody wants to do anything about that. But they got plenty of time to harass our residents and scapegoat some of these.
Mary, read what she said.
Oh, okay. I want to get to some of the comments. Anne Mary Seed said they owe $912,000 in interest, and they owe 14 million. The last I had heard was 13 million. So that sounds close to true. So
Yeah.
another
She
thing.
also said it. I spoke to at the meeting.
Yeah, I'm putting it up now. She said I spoke at the meeting, told Lisa to stop pissing in my face and telling me it's raining. So we both have an affinity for that line apparently. So yeah, I mean that's why, but that's why people get upset because they know that they're doing this right. They're playing in front of our faces, and they're
Yeah.
acting
Yeah.
acting like they don't know where the crisis came from, and they're acting like they don't know why people are mad, and that only makes people more mad because they feel unheard and they feel disrespected.
Definitely. Right
And
there. That's where I feel upset.
yeah,
Right. You hit it right there. Where you're lying. you know you're lying and you keep on lying, and then that's what the issue is. Just come forward and say this is what it is, and then everybody can move forward. But there's no accountability. You keep just lying and lying and lying, and then when you talked about the water bill, not the water bill, the housing, first it was just 80 something people, then you just come bold faces 500. Like, where do you pull these numbers from?
Yeah.
It's just like so hurtful. Like, stop doing it. Just say what it is. Um, and I mean, you probably can't say what it is because then it would be a real problem.
Yeah.
But it's not working out at all.
Well, the thing that I said to Jay, that he twisted into, I didn't respect him as a black man, was that you work for us. You are our employee. You work for these residents here. You need to be accountable to them. They tell you how what Rochdale Village is supposed to be, what we want to fight for. It's a democratic institution. You are a temporary employee. And if you don't act right, you can be that ex-employee. And that's when he got big mad and tried to twist it into that I didn't respect him as a black man. No, he doesn't respect black people. He's trying to con black people. He's trying to exploit black people. He's a parasite on our community. He's trying to make profits off our back. He talks about it being a nonprofit. They're not. We may be, the institution, Rochdale Village may be nonprofit, but Summit Management Company and Marion Scott before that, and all these vendors and all these banking parasites, they're not nonprofit. I don't think the Chase is working on a nonprofit basis, or Ideal, or Key Food, or T-Mobile, or Verizon, or Crunch Fitness. And it's about damn time that the residents demand be treated with the respect that we are the ones that keep this gravy train running for them, and we can make it stop. And the reason why I'm getting to that is because we need to point to the fact that there are things that we can do, but we need all of our voices heard. It needs not to be just me and Adena speaking. It needs not just to be Sean Chandler and others, a handful of people speaking. It needs to be all of us telling our own stories, because we all have different experiences. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different stories to tell them, and all those stories need to be told. So I proposed having a press conference at Rochdale Village to invite all the media members and to demand that politicians show up. And the idea is that politicians will listen to the residents. This is not a photo op for them. It's not a campaign event. It's not a cheap publicity for them. It's for them to be accountable to the concerns of the residents. The residents will speak and they will listen, and then they will propose solutions. And so I also been reaching out to PIX and other, about 30 different news outlets. PIX has responded. I spoke with Greg Mocker by email. I'm going to be following up with him next week. I'm also going to be working with other residents to try to build the most successful event possible. We're going to try to have it on a weekend, probably on a Saturday afternoon, when I believe most people are available. But please, people should get in contact with us and let us know what time would work best for the most residents. But it needs to be soon. It needs to definitely be by the end of the month. And we need residents to also sign the petition. Sign the petition put out by the board of directors. I'm not in competition with their petition. I don't see anything objectionable in their petition. I don't see any harm in supporting it. But you should also support the petition organized by residents, which is going to be slightly edited. Me and Sean Chandler are going to be working on that, because it doesn't matter who wrote it. I'm not trying to take responsibility for it. We all collectively need to use it as an organizing tool, and that's all it's about. So I'll post the petition on the comments. I'll also post the media press statement, that press release that we put out. So we are making progress. We are getting people responding to us, but we need to plan these things out so that the most people can be involved. So it's just not me and them talking, because that's the last thing we need, is for it to look like it's just a couple of people talking about problems that affect 25,000 people. That's not a solution. That's not the kind of action we need. Adena, did you want to get in here?
No. Someone was asking, what is J. William role and title?
Okay,
He's the general manager.
I believe yes, he's the general manager of Summit
That's what
Management.
it says on the Rochdale thing.
That's what it says in the newspaper. That's also what it says on their website. They
Yes, that he's
also
the
there's
general
also
manager. So
another
he's a manager.
he's the general manager.
He's
Um,
general manager.
let me just pull up their website real quickly, because it's good to quote from them. Summit BMI. Okay, so the faces that scroll on the page are Jay Williams, and they say that he is the. For some reason, the pictures are not coming up. I don't know why. All right, let me try one more time. Our team. Here we go. Okay, Alex Friedman. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but
No,
oh, they're
can't
not
see
going to
it.
be able to see it. Sorry. All right. Well, you can go
No.
to summitbmi.com, but um, their executive team is Jay Williams and Alex Friedman, and Friedman, openly says that he was with um, the Marion Scott International, and then he talks about his past history. But in any case, it's the same people recycled over and over again. Either they were before they was general manager, they were assistant general manager. They served one executive title or another in Marion Scott International. So a lot of times when I say Summit Management Company, it may be actually Marion Scott, but we have to really kind of cut the bullshit here. Okay, they can call
We're just
themselves
confused. We don't even know who's running what.
but they can call
Well, not
themselves
everybody's
whatever they want.
confused. They just try to make it
They
confusing.
can call themselves whatever they want, but there's a continuum. There's a continuity between the same people making decisions in the past that got us into this debt in 2019. Jay Williams was here in 2019. Alex Alex Friedman was here in 2019. They all were involved in this, and their fingerprints are all over it. So you can't con us with, oh, that wasn't me. I didn't make the decision. I didn't know you held high executive positions in Marion Scott. So there is a continuity. And when I say the management company, I'm talking about the continuity between the management company that was running Rochdale Village into the ground for 30, 40 years and the management company that we have now that's doing the exact same thing, and they are not going to escape accountability for the decisions that they made. Because I know goddamn well that Adena didn't make the decision to go borrow $195 million from predator parasites, white supremacist organizations like Wells Fargo. Okay? I don't think that's
Um,
representing the black community very
John,
well. Go ahead.
somebody is saying something here. Queen's Rap.
Yeah, it says folks reached out to you but you didn't reply to them. Oh well, I mean, if somebody reached out to me, I've been getting a lot of calls. My phone has been blowing up, and my private messages have been blowing up. So if I missed something, please hit me up. If I missed out on responding to you, it was not on purpose, not intentional. So please hit me up, and I will get back to you. But if I got one missed voicemail or one message, a little persistence would be nice. If you definitely want to talk, I'm here, and Adina's here. You know how to reach us. You know, it's I have that high visibility. You know where I'm at. You guys can find me, and I'm certainly not ducking any questions. Okay. Click 9 on YouTube was also saying so Rochdale Village did not get new management. They changed the name of the management company. Well, what happened was that Marion Scott retired, and so the management company was for sale. It was purchased by a group of buyers, some of whom were Jay Williams and Alex Friedman, and they, from my understanding, are the majority and minority owners of Summit Management Company. I believe that Jay Williams has the majority stake. I think it's like 51-49 or something like that. But really, who should be answering these questions is the management company. They should be transparent about who has been here and for how long and who made what decisions, and they should have some accountability for the decisions they made, and not talk about, oh, well, that wasn't us when you was here in a high executive decision making position. So in any case, it's kind of like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic so they can deflect blame and say it wasn't them. And make it seem like we're run by something new when it's the same. It's the same flat tires. It's the same liars. It's the same people who tell half truths and throw smoke up in the air and treat us like we're stupid and consistently keep changing the goalposts, keep trying to keep us off balance and think that maybe we're crazy. Maybe they're right. Maybe there's some explanation for all this. And the explanations never come. And the increases will keep coming if we do that. We can't allow that. All right, so we try to keep this to about an hour, about 55 minutes or so. So we're going to try to wrap things up. Um, and Queen's Wrap, the same commenter said it's the same company indeed, Queen's Wrap Media News. So in any case, please, if you've reached out to us in the past and we didn't get right back to you, there's, like I said, our phones are blowing up, our messages are blowing up, so we are trying our best to respond. But please be persistent. We will get back to you, and please get in touch with us. We want to hear from those who want to speak at the press conference or in other forums with the media, with politicians, because to be quite honest, a handful of people, no matter how well spoken they are, no matter how much they know what's going on, they cannot advocate for 25,000 people. We need to have some representation of even a minority of that 25,000, a plurality of the people here from all different ages and backgrounds and all different experiences to speak in our name. I can't speak in your name. It wouldn't be right if I did. There's no way I can substitute myself for the experiences of 25,000 people who have different experiences and different backgrounds and different stories to tell. There's just no shortcut for that. So please get in touch with us about how you can reach out to elected officials and how you can be involved in the upcoming events. Please reach out to Sean Chandler, who's out in person getting signatures from people in the buildings on the petition for the board of directors. I'm going to try to be out there with him, but reach out to him so we can try to schedule many more opportunities so that we can be in community with each other. Because what's missing here is that Rochdale Village used to be a community that looked out for each other. It used to be a community that loved its community, that actually advocated for its community, that had self-respect in what we've won and our past gains, and we've kind of lost some of that. And it's not surprising, given COVID and what people went through, that people, are burned out and people are working so much to support the lives that used to be able to be supported on a 40-hour work week. They used to be able to have some time with their family. Like, we all know why, but we have to do even a little bit. If each person does a little bit, it matters tremendously because it encourages others to do the same. Look at Adena. Adena is shy. Adena is not the person to have her own podcast. This is not at all what she expected to be doing. And now she's conquering social media. So if Adena can do it,
Yeah.
of course we can.
Well, yeah, John. I think this Queen's Rat is also saying that the employees want to speak, but they're afraid of management. They're afraid of retaliation
Yeah, I'm putting it
that
up.
will happen.
Yeah. And he says he knows employees that want to speak, but people in management. He said the board is a part of the problem. They came in with intentions of cleaning things up. When John took them out, all the big talks went out the door. Um, and then Lisa Golden was saying, how do you reach the other cooperators? Well, I mean, all we can do is try to reach the cooperators one-on-one at the meetings, by doing petitioning in Rochdale Village, by getting the word out there. But I mean, I think that each one teach one is a good motto to follow. Like, it's going to have to be every cooperator who's outraged by this working with others that they know are outraged about this, to not make them feel alone and to encourage them to step up. I mean, there's just no shortcut to that. Um, no battle or no struggle is predetermined, you know, and that it kind of like charts a course of its own. It takes on a life of its own, but only when people believe in it, and only when people see other people stepping up a lot of times that's what will encourage them to step up. So there's no easy answer to that. But I appreciate the question because it's something we really have to tackle. Another question came up: what can we do for cooperators that have language barriers? Somehow we need residents that speak French, Creole, Spanish, etc., to get the word out and have them sign the petition. Yeah, that's a very real next step that has to be accomplished. And I know there has to be people who speak those languages or know people who can translate that can reach out to us. I mean, me learning French, French Creole and Spanish, or Lena learning it in the next couple of months before we get this increase is not really, a viable step. The only way we're going to bridge that gap is by people stepping up and wanting to play that role. That's an important role that people could play, and it would give us so much more reach. It would allow us to reach so many more people. And please, can someone else be the face of this movement? Like, we need some people who are representative of the community as a whole, but the whole community needs to be representative. Like, it really, like, we're putting our face out there and we're giving our name to this because we know it's important, but we know there are so many other people who know it's important, and you can be involved in any way you want to be involved. You can limit your participation to sharing things out, calling offices, contacting the media, signing petitions. There's so many little ways you can be involved, and if everybody does a little, it'll make it a lot less of a burden on a few people to the lift up.
Because I was delivering, the paper, like the Keep It Rochdale Affordable petition. And
Yeah,
what I did, I put it in every single laundry area, on the bulletins, so that people can see it. And also people was in the hallway and I was giving the papers, and people was asking me, what do you mean a rent increase? They had no clue that there was going to be a rent increase. And I'm like, really? Some people, they just moved here. So they didn't even know that. They was like, I just moved here. How could there be a rent increase? Welcome to the club. Because when I moved in 2017, I think there was a rent increase, or 2018. And remember, John, I was like, oh my God.
yeah,
Oh, it was 2019? And I was
I
crying
think
about the
so, because I think it was
$34?
when I came in. No, you know why I remember? Because Adina came to me ready to pass out over, what was it, 24 hours or something like that, and I was like,
Yeah, it
I
was
was like, you don't know.
$24.
I was like, you don't know rent increases. If you're gonna fall on the floor in
Yeah,
24 hours, you're gonna be unconscious when you get a real increase.
yeah.
Little did we
All,
know.
I think it was for a whole month. I just nagged him about the rent increase. I was like, "Oh my God, how could they do this?" And he was like, "Oh, girl, have a seat." And I was like, "Oh, but it's so high. How are we going to afford $24?" I
And then
think it
the
was
next one was
24
like
or $34,
$39 or
right?
something like that. Right? Yeah, it was like
Yeah, it was
$40.
39. It was in the 30s. Yeah, it was in the
Right.
30s.
But little did we know that what Adina was worried about was coming. You know, it was just around the corner. So anyway, we are past an hour, and we like to try to keep it to about an hour because we know people got other things to do tonight. We'd like to thank the people who are watching live and the people who will watch after the live stream is over. Please share the live stream, like it. Please continue your comments. The comments never end. And please get in touch with us. Let's build community. They want us to believe we're alone and isolated and powerless, and that's a lie. And you can know it's a lie by knowing your history and looking around at what we've built. We built this. It's our communities that built this. I may not have been here, but it was people like me. It was working class people. It was trade unionists. It was anti-racists who built this community. And if we don't want this community to be gentrified, and we don't want to just have to find another place to try to build our lives, we all need to be part of the struggle to demand respect. It's not rude, it's not disrespectful to demand respect and to call people out when they disrespect us. And it's important. And everybody does it in different ways, but we have to hear all of your voices. And we look forward to hearing from everyone. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to be doing this on a bi-weekly basis every 2 weeks. We're trying to fit it into our weekend schedule, and Adina can tell you sometimes it's going to fluctuate. Sometimes it's going to be Saturday, sometimes it's going to be Sunday, but we're trying our best to try to make it on a regular basis. Oh, somebody asked,
John, what's your
Chief
email address?
asked what our email address is. You can email us at keeprochdaleaffordable@gmail.com. That's keeprochdaleaffordable@gmail.com. My email address is John, JOHN012871 You can use either of those. And you can always hit us up by Facebook Messenger, or send us a message, and we'll make sure that you can reach us on all our platforms. We want to thank everybody so much for your time.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Okay.
See you.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Yes.